Guam's political landscape is taking shape with a mix of familiar names, new voices, and unexpected teams, all vying for the people's vote. As the deadline to file passes, the question now, will this diverse field drive voter turnout? From seasoned lawmakers to first-time candidates, the 2026 race is stacked with experience, ambition, and fresh perspective. It began in February when Senator Joe San Augustine teamed up with former Senator Dwayne Nicholas, signaling an early start to what would become a crowded field. Just a day later, Vice Speaker Tony Ada joined forces with businessman E.J. Cabell, bridging politics and private sector experience. By April, the momentum only grew stronger. Speaker Frank Bloss Jr. announced his run alongside former Guam Community College President Mario Okada, adding education and leadership to the mix. On April 24th, two more powerhouse teams entered the race. Senators Therese Terlahi and Sabina Perez joined forces, while Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio partnered with Senator Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, setting up what could be one of the most competitive races in recent history. And just before the deadline, an independent team emerged, Jeff Pleadwell and Charlie Hermosa, adding another layer to an already dynamic field. But it doesn't stop there. The senatorial slate is just as diverse, featuring former lawmakers like Roy Canata, Louise Borhoff, Talina Nelson, Amanda Shelton, along with Will Castro. Community leaders are also stepping up, including Dr. Hoa Wen, Department of Corrections Fred Berdallo Jr., Department of Parks and Recreations Angel Sablon, Sarah Thomas Niderdog, Donna Muñoz Canata, Anthony Tyron, Jonathan Savares, Joaquin Cruz, Gerald Yingling, Ralph Scambilleri, and Brandon Vera. And for the first time, new names enter the political arena: Mateo Mortera, Alexander Duenas, and Joaquin Taidegui, signaling a generational shift in local leadership. With such a broad field, the choice for voters has never been more complex or more critical.
The Guam Election Commission is not just this building here in Tamuning on Farrenhold Avenue in the part of Central Guam. It's also the people. It's Executive Director Maria Pangelinan, who is beginning her 8th election, and her very hard-working team. Now, admittedly, the facilities here at the headquarters, pretty serene and pretty calm, but they're going to be bustling with activity in the coming weeks and months as they register voters and get constituents like you and I ready for Decision 2026. Let's talk to Maria now about what work lay ahead and what you can expect in this election season. Hafa everybody, the one and only Maria Pangelinan, truly an island institution here. And when she is not talking about teaching at the University of Guam, where she's teaching public administration, when she is not praying the Holy Rosary in some of, some of the parishes here, and she is serving the Lord in that capacity, when she is not talking about amazing baking, she's got her primary responsibility. You all know her as the Executive Director of the Guam Election Commission. And Maria, we are so honored to have you here to kick off the election season right here, to talk about everything that's going to go on, the process, the procedure. And it's good to see you.
Thank you, Nsizus Maasi Jason Salas. It's been a whirlwind.
You and I have now been doing this for 15 years together since you've been in charge of the agency. This will be your 8th election.
That's correct.
Yeah, maybe let's start with that. As the person who truly has the duty and privilege of running the Guam Election Commission, technology's changed like a little bit. The rules governing exactly how elections are supposed to proceed, leading up to and then the day of. You still make it fun for your staff and the volunteers and everybody involved in everything. So what has it been for you to actually say, I'm the one in charge, and we're going to make sure that the election runs smoothly?
I had the best mentors. Kin Paris and Defunto Joe Mesa too. So when I came on board, Joe Mesa was sitting on the board. And when I came on board, we were tasked, the Election Commission was tasked to revamp the Guam Election Code. So Joe Mesa and some of the commissioners, including at that time Martha Ruth, and at that time Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio, and there were a bunch of us. We went through the code from page 1, chapter 1 to chapter 21.
And that's not easy reading too.
No, but it was the best learning process, especially with Joe Mesa behind me, saying, okay, yes, that's correct. No, that's wrong. Yes, that's correct. That's where I got my foundation.
Yeah, Joe was always an encyclopedic source of knowledge about.
Yes.
Ran several times for senator himself. Served
Right.
in many different capacities in the government of Guam.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knew the system.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know what? The process and the procedure hasn't changed that much, even though the policy has been amended like a little bit. But there is something significant, Maria, about this year's primary election, because usually and historically it's always the first Saturday of September. This year it's been moved all the way up to August.
That's correct.
Yeah. Why are we doing that again?
To give the election commission time to send out the ballots as required by law 45 days before the election. So imagine that. We have the election on Saturday, August 1st. We have to send our ballots out by July 17th, I believe. I'm sorry, June 17th. So it's 45 days before the election. We have to send those ballots out. So in between the primary and the general, we need a little bit more time to send out the general election ballots. So hence, please move up the primary election to first Saturday in August instead of last Saturday.
Yeah, mark your calendars, everybody. I mean, we're going to tell you, every single week leading up to that and everything like that. But that is one thing to know if you've grown up on Guam and saying, okay, the two dates I'm going to block off are first Saturday in September for the primary.
August. First
yeah,
Saturday.
no, well now, yeah. Traditionally, it's always been
right.
first Saturday in September and then the first Tuesday in November for the general election.
Right.
Now you want to make room on your Google Calendar, iCal, whatever you use and everything for first on August, where we will have the primary.
August 1st and November 3rd.
There you go. Okay. What is the deadline for candidates to file? Because, some are trying to get in as soon as possible. They want to get their name out there. Others are, holding back a little bit. They're, they're being tactical maybe.
Yes. Friday, May 1st, 5 o'clock. That's tomorrow. That's the deadline. So we're anxiously awaiting to see how many more candidates. Right now we have 15 on the Republican side and 15 on the Democrat side. We're looking at possibly 17 on both sides maybe by tomorrow.
How has the makeup of people who run changed in the 7 elections that you've overseen previously? Because before, did it skew a little bit older, and now we're seeing like younger people?
Oh, yes. So there are younger people. At the beginning of the year, we were getting word that there are 4 young guns on the Republican side, and sure enough, they stepped up to the plate, and 3 of them have filed, and 3 of them are ready to go. Even on the Democrat side, we have some really young folks running, which is really good for us, because you and I know that we've been struggling to get the young voters to come out.
Okay, that's an interesting point, because for those that have either never voted, have never taken the time to fulfill your civic duty to register and then actually go out and go to the polls, I mean, it is an experience. I remember when I was graduating from high school, it's like, all right, myself and all my classmates, we went to go register for selective service, and then we vote for the first time.
Right.
But for those who either have not done it, young people, or they've abandoned the practice and everything, why is it so important for the integrity of our island community that, actively participating in the voting process?
Our voters are taking charge and deciding who's going to lead the island, right? And imagine this, if it's only 10,000 people that decide who's going to be our governor. That's really, really sad. So we want the whole island of Guam, those who are qualified to vote, to come out and have your voices heard.
The last 2 elections have been admittedly less than stellar. I know you've been a little bit disappointed on a personal level, because you do take this, this is a source of pride for you and your staff. How do you encourage everybody to say, this is important, or you're also a business professor too, so it's like, the numbers are the numbers, but you also want like a high amount of participation.
So when we started to look at it, Jason, I've been there since 2011. Since 2011, our voter participation has gone down.
It's trended downwards.
Yes. So one of the things, though, that happened was back in 2015, 2019, motor voter registration came into existence. So when motor voter registration came into existence, it was so easy to register. You go renew your driver's license, get your Guam ID. You can just indicate with a check mark right on the application form for a driver's license or Guam ID. You can indicate that you want to register to vote, and that was it. Then you forget about it and you don't come out to vote. So what we're wanting to do, what can we do, right, as the Guam Election Commission? This year, we're going to put out billboards, and we're going to challenge the visitors. We're going to say, hey, Sinahanya, hey, Agana Heights, this is how many people showed up to vote in the 2024 primary election. Let's get your bragging rights out and see how many of you will show up.
And that's interesting because any good Chamorro knows that if you really want, behaviorally, everybody talks about this, about the rearing of local children. If you really want them to kind of snap into form, you challenge them in front of your cousins, in front of like the other villagers at the field, and you just say, hey, I need you to fan this table or something like that. I mean, it's a silly example, but it really does produce results.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's interesting marketing.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works. It's a little bit of money, but we think it's one of our efforts that we want to see, because everybody says the people at the Guam Election Commission, they're so good, but what about voter turnout?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there considerations for that, for the people that want to vote, but for whatever reason, they're unable to through traditional means? They have military service, they jury duty perhaps for our islands, people with disabilities and everything like that. There are considerations for them as well.
Right. So first and foremost, everybody, all employers have to give their employees 2 hours to go vote. That's the law.
This isn't just like the big corporations, and this goes all the way down
everybody,
to mom and pop stores, sole proprietorships.
Yes. Okay. So they have to give their employees 2 hours to come out and vote. Also, we're going to have early voting. We just closed the bid yesterday, so we don't know exactly where it's going to be, but we will have early voting for 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually, for 14 days. So we'll open it Tuesday through Saturday, 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
But 2 years ago when you guys did it at the Westin, that was really nice.
Yes.
That was a fun trip.
So we've been doing at the Westin 22 and 24. And so our bids were opened yesterday. We will have our evaluators, our commissioners come up to evaluate the bids with us, and then we can announce it. So besides early voting, we also have homebound voting services. This is in the code, in the Guam code, in the law, that says we can visit homes of those that are incapacitated, that are homebound. So we will go, 2 of our deputized homebound representatives will go to the homes to visit. We will also visit Guam Memorial Hospital, Guam Regional Medical Center. We will also visit Naval Hospital, St. Dominic's, and we get calls that if they're going out on medical referral and they call us and they say, we need to, we're leaving tomorrow, can you come to the hospital? We will go there as well. We work with a patient coordinator up at the hospital.
So it's like, say if somebody has like a emergency surgery or something like that, and they're like, okay, this suddenly came up, I still would really, really like to vote and participate in it, but
yes,
life was life,
Yes. Everybody and their brother gets involved with how to make the process more effective and efficient.
And as you said, Maria, it's only as good as the people that are coming out. So we're going to take a break right now, but please stay tuned, because when we come back with Maria, we have a bunch of questions that the constituency has actually sent it to. Your DMs, your emails, your hand me a Post-it like on the side of the street and everything like that. So we're going to get to that when we come back.
Si deswasi.
Now I know what you're thinking, because I can tell, like, through all the screens, the TV screen, the YouTube, and everything like that. Is Miss Maria this nice in person? Yes, she absolutely is. It is a delight to sit with her. So Maria Pangelinan, the Executive Director of the Guam Election Commission, once again, Hafa buenas.
Hafa Jason Salas.
Okay, people on this island love like late breaking news and everything. That's why I've been able to have a career here. But somebody sent us this message, Maria, and said, I know there are 2 initiatives that may be put on the ballot. These were just introduced. how feasible is it and how realistic that the Please Don't Quit Your Day Jobs Act of 2026, that's Dr. McNinch's.
Right.
Yeah, and then there's another one about limited electronic gaming at qualified bingo facilities. Right? This is a wonderful application of the process of the constituency to propose ideas. Realistically, will we see these on the ballot?
You know, the law changed the law made the changed the process quite a bit. So there are major requirements, but it's still okay. There's still enough time to conduct the 10 public meetings. These initiatives, if they meet all the requirements, may be on the ballot for the general election. That's where it comes. So
how brutal of a process is that? Because I mean, 10 public hearings. I mean, either for yourself and your staff, or for the people that are trying to get these on the ballot.
For the people.
Yeah, it's not an easy process. But I mean, if you believe in it that much, I mean, you're willing to put in the work, I would assume.
Yes. So it's a lot of work, but it is doable. I believe it's doable. How hard is it for the Guam Election Commission? Well, we have to go through over 5,000 signatures, or we have to find 5,000 vetted signatures for each of those two initiatives. So we have to do that. It's costly. We have to send out an education pamphlet to all the voters. So we've estimated that if there's an initiative in the general election ballot, the cost is about $80,000 extra.
And you've said a lot of that is because of the printing, because of
Correct.
the distribution and everything.
Yes, and all the publications.
Just put it on Instagram, man. Make everybody subscribe to you.
Yes, but
So social media, unfortunately, not covered
Yes.
under that
yeah,
communication
and
as
the
of yet.
important thing is that education pamphlet will include pros and cons for each initiative and other points that our voters will need to know in order to vote the way they want.
Okay, well, best I can do at this point, everybody, as a newsman and everything, is stay tuned, because we will be on top of this for you, guarantee. And thank you for that comment. That was DM to us. Here's an email, Maria. Somebody said, what precisely is involved with volunteering as a voter registrar or as a precinct official?
Oh, simply get on the GEC website, and that's gec.guam.gov. There's application forms for both. Precinct official trainings will start in June.
You can't just show up the day of and say, hi, I'm here. Yeah.
No, volunteer voter registrar training. The last one for the primary election is next month. It's always on the third Wednesday and Thursday. If you've been a volunteer registrar and you were a good one from the past, you don't have to go through the training again. All precinct officials must go through the training.
Okay, there's a key word, because who determines how well they did? Is there like a post evaluation?
We have
again, Professor Pangelinan. How do you evaluate?
We have precinct official gurus in the office who diligently spend time with them, who train them, and they know. So we in the past it used to be 335 of them. Now we're reduced to 59 precincts. So we have less number of precinct officials to train. We have returnees, where in America, the precinct officials are much older. Here, I think our median age is 34. So we're proud of our group. And a big responsibility goes out, and kudos go out to the Republican and the Democrat Party. They provide us with most of the precinct officials.
Okay, do you have to be a legal adult? Like, if you're under 18, can you do this?
You can do it. We haven't had, it's long hours, and we want to, the parental permission, the parental authorization stuff gets involved. We've done it in the past. But I think what I want to mention at this point in time is the Guam Election Commission, in partnership with the University of Guam School of Business and Public Administration, put together an academic credit-bearing course, an upper division course.
Very nice.
Yes, it's Public Administration 308. The course is called Elections Administration. It's going to be offered, hopefully, we're going to offer it in the fall. And the beauty of it is they will become precinct officials for the general election.
I would love to take that class.
We want to offer it also in the summer. And the Guam Election Commission, based on an Election Assistance Commission grant, is paying for the tuition.
Excellent. I was going to say, as an alumni, do I get in for free? But I would think that all members of the media should take that class. Anybody who thinks about running would probably want to audit it at the very least. That's a fantastic idea.
Yes. And so
You heard it right here, everybody.
So Guam Election Commission won a couple of national awards for that program.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. And then the reason why I was asking about people under 18 is because, especially in DOE right now, well, all the privates, all the schools, the idea of service learning is such a critical part of secondary education right now.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would say, I would love to get involved with that.
And Jason, do you remember when the ROTC folks helped us at the polling sites? Yes. So, we'll try to reach out. We know it's a big responsibility for our ROTC instructors, but we want to try to reach out again and get them involved.
Okay, very excellent. Okay, here's another question. This one is another email. Maria, are the voting precincts going to be exactly the same as 2 years ago, as far as the schools and over at UOG? And
so we were asked. The commission was tasked to look at Chalampago, or the
new community center.
The new community center.
Nice.
So. Initially, the board approved it changing from Ordat Chalampago Elementary to the new community center. It's going to be back on the agenda for our May 14th meeting. They're going to take a look at it. They want to take a look at whether the parking slots that are available will accommodate the voters efficiently.
Okay, well, we have a new reporter. I'm sure you'll meet her, Janice Carrasco. She's originally from Miami, and she was just asking me before we started this interview, and she was like, do you guys do it at the libraries too? And I was like, I can't remember if a voting precinct has ever been at a library, maybe just because of parking space?
Parking space, possibly.
Schools are also bigger than libraries typically.
And most in most villages, there's more than one precinct.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, so most of them are in schools, and we have a couple in the community centers.
Okay.
Now we will have at least 3.
All right, well, Maria Pangelinan, those were some of the softball questions. These ones are a little bit more into the mechanics of an election. I know you're more than capable. This one was direct message us on Instagram. It says, I recently got married and I voted in the 2024 election. Do I need to do anything different to register to vote now that my name has changed?
Okay, so if you have a current Guam ID or a current driver's license with your married name, get on our website.
Well, there you go.
There, and
as easy as that?
As easy as that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay?
And you get to show off your new last name. And even if you hyphenated it or you just do your...
And in the event that you get married right before the primary, just and you still have your maiden name, just bring your ID. Your name will be your maiden name on the roster.
Okay, that's interesting. That's key to know. Okay, here's another one kind of as far as maybe edge cases. And, this person emails, my sister is a resident with special needs. Can I, as her legal guardian, vote on her behalf? Can she proxy? Okay.
No proxies. In the basic foundation of democracy, it's the person's vote.
But again, as we talked about before, there are accommodations and considerations made for all people.
Absolutely, yes. So if we encourage our persons with disabilities. We work with the Guam Legal Services Corporation. We encourage them to come out to vote early. We have universal express votes. People who are blind, persons with disabilities can come out and vote independently on those express votes. These machines will print out your ballot for you. They're equipped with braille, touch tone buttons, and then if you need help voting and you want your family member to come and vote with you, that's fine. We'll allow them to go into the voting booth.
But you can't say, my cousin, my Nina, my caretaker, and everything is going to do it on my behalf. It has to be the individual.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Okay, here's an interesting one. What if I get sick the day of the election?
You have on election day, you have until 4:00 to call 671-477-9791, and we will go out and assist you up until 8:00. if you can make it to the polls, if somebody can drive you, you can simply drive up to the curbside and our precinct officials will come out and assist you with voting right in the car.
Okay, but if GEC goes to your house and everything, please make sure you wear your masks, wear
Yes.
the gloves. Yeah,
Yes.
because we want to make sure that everybody's
Yes,
safe.
our deputized homebound representatives will have all the personal sanitary kits to be able to go into, even the hospitals.
Is there one team that does that, Maria, or do you have
no.
or do they do it at the village level? Like, this person covers
Oh,
or
no,
is it
they-
regional?
Okay. So we have to think. They're going out with ballots, so it has to be 2 deputized homebound officials from Guam Election Commission. 2 of them. They can be. We invite the parties to accompany them. It gets a little hairy because the schedule changes. We're servicing homebound voters who are ill, so sometimes we get to their house and, to no fault of theirs, they're not feeling up to it, so we have to come back. So the schedule gets hairy. But we deputize. We try to get about 6 deputized homebound officials. So sometimes we have up to 5 teams going out.
Okay, those are homebound people. How about the incarcerated? Do you lose your constitutional right as Americans to vote and participate in an election if you have been convicted of a crime?
Not on Guam. If who cannot vote are people under 18. Oh no. So if I want to make this point clear, if you're going to be 18 by November 3rd and you're not 18 by August 1st, you can still vote in the primary. So those people that are incarcerated, if they are not adjudicated yet or they haven't been convicted yet, they have the right to vote, but Guam Election Commission by law is not cannot go to the prisons to make them vote.
That you have done, as far as running the agency and everything. You are a living legend here on the island, and the reason why Guam elections run so smoothly is because of you and your team and the people that you lead. And there's been so many people that have worked at the GEC over the years, and they all tell me that it's a wonderful experience.
Yes,
and we're really
it
looking
is.
forward to working with you this election season.
Si Zeus Masi, Jason Salas.
Algo mas, Maria. Maria, Pangelinan, and everybody from the Guam Election Commission. We're back right after this. So, needless to say, we've given you a lot to think about. It's admittedly a lot to process, to consider, and to ponder, but that's what makes election season on the island so very special. And even fun. And that's just for ensuring that you're a registered voter and knowing where and when and how you're able to cast your ballots and make your voice heard on the various issues. If you'd like to be part of the team that works in your village as a precinct official, it's a fun experience, and as you heard earlier from Maria Pangelinan, the Guam Election Commission wants you to work as a precinct official. You'll get top-notch training on how to run a polling site during the day and then tabulate the ballots at night, and you get paid good money, and there's food. It's a way that you can participate in the election process with your neighbors and help the GEC make this year's election the very best season it can be. So my friends, at least for the moment, we are going to say adios, and here we are on beautiful Tumon Bay at the Crown Plaza here in the island's tourism capital, where we will be for our candidate forums, and those will be chances where you can directly interface and interact with several of the candidates running for some of the most high-profile offices in the government of Guam. We urge you to tune in each and every week because we will be giving you candidate profiles, the issues, your feedback, your voice, your concerns about what faces you as a voter in the Guam constituency this year in the Decision 2026 election season. So we urge you to tune in each and every week on KUM TV8, streaming on Peacock, YouTube, Facebook. Make sure to join the entire KUM news team as we bring you comprehensive coverage of this year's election season. It's going to be informative, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be unlike any other election before. I'm Jason Salas for KUM. Adios.